Welcome back, everyone. NicknLex here. Thank you so much for joining me today to this new episode of Music with Nick. Today, we got a request by Kevin B, to be exact, because we have a couple of Kevins on the channel. And this is a epic request, a epic song that falls into the up to 12 minutes song requests. And here's the email. Let's get right into it. I put it here on my in Spotify, and this is called it says, well, I'm gonna read it to you guys. Okay, so it says here, Kevin B here. My request is for one song, which is by Touch, the band Touch. 75 is the song. It clocks in at 11 minutes and 45 seconds. I hope you can find it, as it's pretty obscure, so I got it. I'm super happy. Album is Touch, and it's from 1969. The group released one album only called Touch, self-titled, from 1969. The song 75, it's a mix of psychedelia and prog, very trippy. The band disbanded shortly after they felt they couldn't produce their music live. The album is spectacular with spacey cover art, typical for the times. Hope you like it. Thank you. That is a thing that I sometimes, think when I listen to certain music, like, how are they going to play this live? Some bands can pull it off, some bands can't, So thank you so much for the trivia, because obviously I wouldn't have known that this was, a challenge for them. And but yeah, let's get into it. Thank you so much, Kevin, for sponsoring this video, for getting in touch with me, and it's always a pleasure to do these reactions, the ones that we release, and then we kind of like, we release what we'll think you'll like, but we also like it, personally. So we've done, today, for example, we released some Dream Theater, yesterday some Chicago, and so forth and so on. So yeah, we try to keep you guys well engaged as good as possible. But yeah, so this is what I love when we go into the complete unknown here with bands like this. So Touch, 1969. So let's see if it's yesterday we watched, oh my god, here it says 11:12. You know that 11:11 right here behind me. So the song clocks in at 11:12 here. I hope that's the one that you are talking about, and it's not like because the one that clocks in at 11:45 is Blue Feeling. So let's see here. No, 75 is 11:12, which is also great. So here we go. I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. If you're new to the channel, please, like the video, dislike it if it sucks, subscribe to the channel if you think it's entertaining, all that stuff, So here we go with 75, Touch. All right. I love that change here. Very cool.
See what you can
Nice. Very cool. Wow. Wow. The panning. Okay. Let's just listen to it. I was gonna pause, but just. Wow. Here we go. Wow, that was very good. There was some excellent parts in there. The whole thing was very interesting. So I looked them up. Founded in Portland, USA, 1968. Disbanded 1969. It says Touch may have possibly been the first American progressive rock band, although there are counterclaims from supporters of equal neglect, forgotten United States of America, and now the hindsighted claims for Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. However, USA and Zappa, on hearing much of Touch's small catalog of progressive music, one might be forgiven for saying it was influenced by the early British prog bands. It says here, in other words, their music, their ideas, and their special album predates Crimson's and the Court and the first Renaissance album. That's crazy. Because I was thinking, wow, this is really early stuff, and it does remind me, of course, of many bands that came like a little bit after. I mean, this was during the Beatles, you know. And so it does really sound very, very original. I mean, because it did remind me of Iron Butterfly, of a little bit of Pink Floyd in their psychedelic, you know, years when it before, you know, I think Wish You Were Here in Dark Side, you know, and but also, you know, just the instruments being used reminded me, of course, of, you know, like Deep Purple, you know, that strong keyboard injection there. But the thing that reminded me the most of something that became after was Uriah Heep, that very high pitched vocals that influenced bands like, King Diamond. We went to see King Diamond and he played The Wizard as an like opening act, because it's obviously very inspirational to him. Very high pitched vocals by Uriah Heep, and then King Diamond gave his concert. But this sounded like King Diamond. So King Diamond could have said, "Hey, those guys from Touch, that's how I'm gonna sing. I'm gonna make an entire career out of this." So I wonder what my friend Lee says when he hears this. But the whole thing was really cool. I love how kind of like disconnected it got, and then they would always find kind of like a way to get back and finish the song and continue, like, because it was very out there all of a sudden. But it would always come back and continue the song, even with the lyrics. I had them pulled up, and I love there was some really cool improvisation. The keyboards, da 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 da, and also the guitar solo at the end, very cool, very nice bends there, just very expression, like a lot of expression in the music, and also the way they would kind of like use effects to make the voice appear very far away, get it closer, and just I think it was very good. There was some amazing bass playing, some great drumming on there. I'm sure, like what they say, it must have been very hard to play this live, just to get it to sound like this. That's the thing, with studios. Let's say with music like Pink Floyd, they mastered the art of like, whatever we do here in the studio, we have to do this live. We have to be able to play it. And pretty much, I mean, I don't know about the early stuff of Pink Floyd, the very psychedelic stuff, like where there's a 12-minute intro, of a guy eating breakfast. I'm sure they never really played it that way because it's impossible. You have to, some bands have kind of like a track running that has like a special, if there's a speaking part or something inserted from real life, like a speech, like Iron Maiden always has Churchill's speech before their song, and that of course is a recording. So there's some bands who do use a little bit of their footage from their own albums to make it into the song. So I can just see how it could have been challenging, so but this is really good, and it is in PROG archives. Let's see, there's only one album, a 4.2. That's a good rating for an album. So a 4.2 is pretty much, let's see, under the rating chart, let's see, it says excellent addition to any rock music collection, and then at 5-star would be essential, a masterpiece of rock music. That's like the Dark Sides of the Moon and stuff like that. But yeah, there's some nice reviews here, pretty like very positive. There's even some 5 stars here. Mellotron Storm, the reviewers, the names. Very cool. I loved it. I really loved it because it was very experimental, very different, and yes, I mean, completely original. This is when Led Zeppelin released their first album, I think was 1968. So it's completely different than that. It doesn't sound like the Beatles. The Beatles had already done all their work by 1969. And it doesn't sound anything like them. I can think of bands like, yes, it reminded me of Iron Butterfly. I think Iron Butterfly also came out like 68. The Moody Blues, a little bit. Deep Purple, like I said, obviously Uriah Heep, King Diamond. But it's funny because all this is before that. So 1969. What a crazy year, after the moon landing. And I understand, obviously, the covers, everybody's kind of like space is, right now, it's like when something comes out and it hits you like in 1989, I don't know, let's not talk about that. I think it doesn't have anything to do with music. So, but yeah, you know how something comes out and it's like, that is that. Oh, that's actually maybe before the internet, when something was just in the moment and that was everything that everybody was listening to, watching, maybe a huge movie or stuff like that. It's like a fever, you know. So I think the space fever was among people, and so everybody put space on the cover of their albums and stuff like that. But well, you know, I could be wrong. Let me know what you think. I think this was very enjoyable. I do have to listen to it a second time. Maybe I should have paused throughout, because it is quite long and there was a lot of stuff happening that I would have liked to talk about a little bit more. But let's go back to the vocals. The vocals were great. Very, very nice. Difficult, very difficult to do, of course. I mean, if you have the voice and it's easy, then well. But I love the voice. I love the guitar, especially the guitar solo at the end. I think it was very there was a lot of expression happening. It even reminded me, it's so funny, it reminded me of some Yngwie Malmsteen, but only when he plays very, very slow, because he's very famous for playing always very fast. There are some instances on his first album where he plays very, very slow, almost classical music. It reminded me of that classical, almost Baroque-like music, and those bends there, very, very cool. The bass, you could always, when it was doing something, it was doing something very cool, very nice, you know, figures and stuff. But the star here was obviously the keyboard. The keyboard and the drums drove this entire thing. And I think the improvisation on the keyboard were very interesting, very cool. The ascending and ascending runs, you know, sometimes almost kind of like circus-like, just to mess with us a little bit, you know, to give us that psychedelic fix. And the drums, you know, the drums are very, very cool, very like, you know, and then slow and then really fast, the fills. It was just really, really cool. I think this band has a lot of potential. It's a shame that they only released one album, but hey, at least we got it. We have it on Spotify. That's why I recommend Spotify. This is not an ad, okay? I recommended Spotify to the father of my sister's husband. We were always, we have a group where we always send each other music, and he was like, I can't really open your music out. And then I was like, hey, get Spotify. You know, that's why I said I recommend Spotify to other people, because it's basically, you have all this music at a touch of a button, you know. I know to have vinyls and CDs is way, way better, but hey, you know, when you're on the road and stuff, I think Spotify is great. But well, it's not an ad, okay? Please. I'm not advocating here for Spotify. But again, thank you so much. This was great. Touch. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Did you, I don't know, get high to this maybe one time? Have you heard it before? If this is your first time, what did you think as a first time listening experience? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.